there are Rugby World Cup qualifiers going ahead in the Rugby Europe Championship of 2021. I think it is finally wrapping up this weekend, is it not?
Yeah, this is the final two fixtures that are out.
Is that definitely right, or does Spain still have to play the Netherlands? I think they might.
Maybe Spain. Maybe Spain.
Yeah, Spain have to play the Netherlands, so it's not quite wrapping up, but we're getting close to wrapping up the Rugby Europe Championship, which has been ongoing for some amount of time.
It's true.
And we have, first of all, the high-flying Oaks, the Romanians, hosting the Netherlands at the Arc de Triomphe in Bucharest. That's going to be Saturday, 13th of November, tomorrow, obviously. Kickoff of 5:30 p.m. local. That's 3:30 in our time.
That's right.
In the UK and Ireland. And obviously, a very exciting situation for Romania. Now they've
managed to arrest momentum. Yeah. It's really pretty much starting with that showing against Argentina at the very start of summer. Obviously during that this tournament as well, they've managed to dig it out of the fire. That great win against Portugal in Portugal still stands to their credit and could be invaluable when the dust settles after last season and whoever's on top. But you're right in saying they're in a great spot after a really strong showing against a high-flying Uruguay side. They will likely have way too much for this Netherlands side this weekend, and they will be looking to rack up a bonus point to take them up into...
a bonus point. They're currently on 9 points. They actually currently, after Russia's win over the Netherlands last week, Romania find themselves in fourth. Yeah. However, a win here with a bonus point would put them into second ahead of Portugal. Well, they'd be level on points with Portugal going into the all-important next season. Likewise, Russia obviously could join them there on 14 points.
Could be a three-way tie going into next season. It's very scrappy, so it is in this race for the second Europe spot. Europe 2, and that golden ticket to the World Cup is what all of these sides have in mind.
Yep.
And Andy Robinson has been doing a great job with Romania so far. He's been took them in at such a low ebb, and there's still been some drama things about it is going to take place in the Arc de Triomphe, which is their great new stadium. But they had to fight off their own government trying to annex it for football purposes earlier in the season. They've had all kinds of pushback in terms of that. They had to host, I think, was it that Argentina game that they couldn't play there?
Yes,
they hosted them in some other place where the dressing room facilities weren't great as well and all that. It seems like an uphill battle.
It's not been without adversity.
100%.
But quietly in the background, they've been doing some excellent work.
Yeah.
They started off being a very physical team with a very good maul, who could be caught for speed a little bit, but were solid defensively and tough to break down.
They'd kick their threes diligently and never be completely buried in a game.
Correct, and they were always tough to beat, and they had a respectable 11-point defeat to Georgia, and they managed to see off Portugal in Portugal. They saw off Spain at home as well. They opened the season with a rough one, losing to Russia, where they were frustrated for the whole game.
They were an ill-disciplined mess in that game, and Russia punished them for it.
But they have rebounded really well, and it all culminated last week with just a very impressive win over Romania, where they married
over Uruguay.
Over Uruguay, I should say, is right.
Yeah.
But they married their big forward pack and their tenacious defense with a really sharp looking offense, and their wingers, their back three stocks, really, really good. Malinte has been an absolute game changer from 15 for them.
But also have retired Vlaicu, who was their all-kicking centre for many a year, but he's taken the reins and he has more speed.
The thing about Vlaicu was he was all-kicking. He was like an NFL kicker, really.
He was didn't do much there, and it just meant there was no speed in the back line. The knock-on effect was that they weren't quick.
Whereas they've added, they first of all have on the wings in Dumitru and Onutu genuine pace, really good pace, who can take tries. And then Vaio Vasa, who last week lit it up against Uruguay. Very exciting player from 13, can just change games.
Love to see it.
It's a strong looking side, and I think they're in the context of this game against the Dutch, they are gonna when you looked at
it's a bonus point.
When you looked at the tackling that the Dutch were delivering last week at home against the Russians, you have to think that the Romanians are going to be confident about further developing that offense, getting to the edge, getting Vaio Vasa on the ball one-on-one through contacts.
Just hitting lines hard will be sufficient here. If you can dial it in, get him, as the game progresses and you start to grow into the physicality, get the hands free, get the offloads going amongst the forwards would be lovely to see before striking out with that pace that you found out wide. But they are a nice balanced team at the minute, and this is a game that bonus point is all that they'll have it written on their head. I don't think kicking threes makes any sense. I think that shootout, it's an all-weather pitch in Amsterdam with massive in-goal areas, and this is the Arc de Triomphe, but no, they're at home. By the flip side, they're at home against the Netherlands side that couldn't. The Netherlands side do occasionally look good with ball in hand, but the sheer lack of tackling out of them, particularly against the Russian side that is slower than this Romania side. You got to be confident. If you're the Oaks, you've got to go after it from minute one. Much like an All Black side, go after it.
Go to the corner, use your maul, use your physicality, get this win signed, sealed, and delivered.
Ideally in the first quarter, first half.
Let's not make a drama off after what has been a pretty excellent season. Really, since that defeat to Russia, they've gone from strength to strength. They pushed Argentina all the way. They look competent. They are my front runners. As much as I love this Portugal side, they are my front runners for that Europe 2 spot. They do
have pedigree. They have precedent and pedigree in the rugby game, but it's going to be a humdinger when they face Portugal in this exact stadium next year as well. And like their mission statement is secure second and nothing other than a bonus point win against the Netherlands, which is par for all of these teams. If you want to look at it that way, like if you don't get a bonus point, you're dropping a point on the field.
Nobody hasn't got one yet, unfortunately, for the Dutch. From their point of view, obviously they're not going to be at the World Cup after last week.
Those fanciful dreams are now well and truly quashed. What they're fighting for is to just pit past Spain and not have to be in that playoff against Belgium at the end of the year. Which, to be honest, is still a far cry from likely. It involves picking up things like bonus points. It involves being a bit more competitive and a bit more savvy than they are.
Listen, they were playing a division below up until this year.
It's true.
They're a little bit shocked by the increase in standard. That happens. Nevertheless, they have some good talent coming through. They have a decent bunch of back row stocks, including some Pro 2 players, which is exciting. They just need to, on the edge, dial in the tackling a little bit more, adjust accordingly to the pace of the game, and they should be looking to improve as these games go on. Last week, by any standard, was a disappointment on defensive end. I don't care who you are, it wasn't good enough on the defensive side of the ball. They want to dial that in a bit more. They want to bring some line speed and bring some tackling. And if you're the coaching staff, that's all you're saying. Bring some line speed and make your tackles and make it difficult for them.
If you gotta get angry, get angry. But don't be so passive and so fun to play against for our opponents. That's got to be mission one. If you're a coach, you're very frustrated watching just sometimes they're gifting them, like the charge down one you were citing, where it's like our own massive in goals coming back to haunt us. Don't be quite so accommodating to play. Get a little bit of dog, a little bit of grit in there. Try and slow up the ball, try and make stick tackles, and then when they have the ball, they can actually move it reasonably well.
Try and get it to the edge. Try and get your Geordie Hops on the ball one-on-one. Maybe he's got some pace. He's got a chance to make some things happen. They're probably going to be outmatched in this game, but they need to perform as well as they can and just
they have had
look to improve.
Their best quality is that they keep grabbing tries even when they're being blown out, and that is something they should cherish and should keep attacking, keep trying to score tries. Eventually that comes good. That is a more proven path from tier 2 to tier 1 than anything else, because it's only really Japan who have done it, and they've done it with offense. Like the USA are an example of a tier 2 side that are trying to lean on physicality and power, and it's like whenever they meet a tier 1 side, it's night and day. These are, as you were kind of branding them, kind of a tier 2.5, tier 2, between tier 2 and 3, and they're looking to make the step up to tier 1. If they can dial in attacking footy and trying to score tries, that's the right way to do it. But it's probably at least a week too soon, if not a year or two.
They're well away from tier 1, I'll tell you that. But
in terms of tier 2,
I like the Oaks in this by a bonus point. I don't think the actual result matters beyond that. I think it doesn't. At least 4 tries and move on.
That's exactly what we're looking at here. I'd expect it from them. I think Romania are in a good place right now, and I'd expect them to win comfortably here.
No question. Thanks for watching the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you enjoyed that video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And hey, if you have an opinion of your own, if you disagree with what we're saying, leave a comment down below. We might just get back to you.